Hello and welcome to this week's weekly forecast. My name's Vicki and I'm the travelling tarot teacher. My travels are starting to slow down, so I'll be coming to you from now on from the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. And I will be bringing you news from around town, from the city and visiting friends and family as we go along the way, until I take off and start travelling again. But in the meantime, it's nice to be stationary in one spot. I apologise that the forecast is a day late. I have been playing a little bit of catch up, and so therefore, but it doesn't take away from the guidance that we were receiving from the cards this week. As usual, I am using the Mythic Tarot deck. Excuse me. And I will be choosing 6 cards intuitively from the deck, and then making giving you some guidance or making an interpretation of those cards for you for the week ahead. So let's begin. So this is for week commencing June 14th, 2021. And we have 6 cards here ready to go. So our first card that I have chosen for this week is where we're at, where we are consciously knowing ourselves to be, and it's time to put our affairs in order. We have the King of Swords here. The King of Swords represents order and detachment from any task that is required to be done. He brings a certain detachment and order to it, and he's able to move through and cut through any disorganization that might be in the mind. He's very good at balancing the mind out and using the sword. The sword's in a very upward and positive position, means that he's able to move through and cut through those details that normally we might allow our emotions to overwhelm us with. So he's here to settle us down, bring in a detached viewpoint to our tasks this week. And he is a taskmaster, so he's here to help us move through some jobs that we need to get done, and they're necessary jobs. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Okay, so the next card that we're looking at is our soul card, or our soul or energy card, and how our spiritual self and how our guidance is actually moving us or helping us motivate us through this change and through this tasks that we're required to do. So we've chosen the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is it's a subconscious knowing. So we know that in order to move through these tasks, we need a little bit of uplifting, a little bit of motivation. We might get some inspiration from somewhere. Help will turn up out of nowhere, or we'll have the energy and the mindset to do it. We'll have actually the inspiration and motivation to move forward. So as much as our mind might like to tell us to slow down, or I'll put that off to later, that Ace of Wands is always going to kick in and say, no, the time is actually right now. And our conscious self is going to say, you know what, you're right, let's go ahead and do that. And we all need a bit, I know I need a bit of that sometimes. So the next card we're going to look at is where our vulnerability or fear lies. So how we're going to be looking at maybe trying to talk ourselves out of the moving forward or the tasks. So what card do we have? Here we have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles represents stability. It represents feeling that it's a very Zen card, because we know that we have all the resources that we need. We know that we have them to hand, and we have all the time and even the money that we require in order to get those tasks done. So when we're looking at the opposite of what that feels like, our fear is going to kick in and think, I can't do these tasks. So that'll be our sensitivity, the little bit of vulnerability that we have around us. Is our mind is going to come in and say, I don't have enough money to do this, I don't have enough time to do this, I've got all these other things to do. I can't really be doing this thing right now because I don't have enough information, I don't have enough of something. And so the Knight of Pentacles will be there to remind us and to build us up, to remind ourselves that we actually do have those things. And the one helpful thing that we'll have to work with us, not only the Knight of the King of Swords, to keep our mind detached, but also the Ace of Wands is going to boost us every time that thought comes in. So it's just a reminder that when that thought does come in, that it is just a fear that wants to kick in. So what is our response going to be to this? Oh dear. We have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords represents anxiety and fear and all those the nightmares that we, those things that those scenarios that we envision. This is going to happen, and what if that happens, and if this happens, this is going to happen. So the more we delve into and tackle those issues and tasks that are in front of us, it's going to increase our anxiety. No wonder the Ace of Wands is working with us, because we will need that motivation to overcome the fear that we can't get this done, or that something bad is going to happen for whatever reason. And the rest of the cards will reveal to us the context of that is that the more we delve into the tasks that are required, the more our anxiety is going to increase, and the more the mind wants to shut us down. So it's very important that now we can see the importance of having the King of Swords as the instigator of getting these done, because he's going to keep us on the straight and narrow. He does not buy into any of these fears and these stories that we like to tell ourselves that where we're going to catastrophize or awfulize things. So once we knuckle down and start addressing these tasks that require our attention, we overcome the anxiety by using the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Swords to move us through that anxiety, those little fears, those negative thoughts that we want to bring in. What is our future? Where are we actually headed? Oh, we got the Magician, a nice, strong major arcana card. The Magician tells us that it brings us onto the threshold of the next part of our journey. That means that by tackling these issues, by tackling these tasks that require our attention, once we are over them, we are then ready. And the next part of our journey is ready to, it's free and clear. We have everything that we need, and there's nothing that we need to get is going to prevent us from moving forward or being clear about the way forward. The Magician opens up the door. The Magician is the guide, and so the Magician will open up the door and we can see the vista in front of us about where we're actually headed. So in order for that to be clear, in order for us to be able to see that these issues or tasks that are in front of us, that the King of Swords is very kindly laying out and helping us to see in a detached way, facing them, addressing them, putting them to bed, tying up those knots and tying up all those loose ends, means that they will no longer play on our mind, and that frees up that energy to put all of our attention into the new project or the way forward. And how we know what that feels like. We really do require that extra help in order to move through that. These are the things that you know, and I know that I've been putting off, and you know that you've been putting off. It's time. So, excuse me. What's the spiritual meaning? What is our karmic contract? What is the spiritual meaning for this? Temperance. It's time to bring everything back into balance. These are issues or these little tasks or jobs that the King is showing us or bringing forward or moving forward for us has really left us off balance or out of balance or out of alignment. And so by facing them, by doing them, by putting them to bed or giving them some sort of finality, closing the door on it, allows all of that extra energy that we've been using to keep the lid on them or try to ignore them, we now can feed back into ourselves and allow that flow of beautiful energy to move us forward, and we feel calm, we feel in control, and then we can access the Magician energy to help us see the vista that's in front of us, and then we can make a decision about how we want to move forward, because all of that extra energy we've been putting towards denying those tasks, putting them off, ignoring them, we can now use towards creating our future. And so it's very well, I'm not going to tell you that it's very important that you must do this, but while the King of Swords is there helping us, why not delve into those difficult tasks that you have been putting off? It is this week will bring a relief around finalising those tasks and giving yourself back that energy and that mind space, removing the anxiety that, you know, unfinished tasks can bring us, and that, you know, that that anxiety comes from our own I suppose lack of, "Oh, I don't want to do this," like we want to keep putting that off. All of that is helping us move towards finalizing them, completing them, getting them off the table and out of the way, all those loose ends tied up. Let's move forward. I know I'm going to be dipping into those things that I've been putting off for so long, and because I'm very excited about my way forward. I've got a lot of beautiful, amazing ideas that I wanted to put into practice, and I will be utilizing all these cards in order to get to that place that I want to be at for myself, because I want to be back in control of my pathway. And now these cards are showing me that I actually have the time and the space and the energy and the guidance to actually help me get there. So how are you going to utilize the energy that's being provided for us this week to help you move through those unfinished tasks, get them off the table, out of your head, and bring that future forward and bring that control of your future forward? Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, I apologize, it's a little bit late. That's probably one of the tasks that I had to get off the table. This is for the week beginning Monday, June 14th, 2021. I'm Vicki Haspels, a travelling tarot teacher. Until next week, with love from me to you. Mwah. Thank you so much. Goodbye.